Horses have always been considered one of the most beautiful animals that exist, but there are hundreds of horse breeds around the world. That means there are some horses that are superior to others, at least in terms of how they look. From a horse that looks like it's straight out of a fairy tale, one that looks like a giant pony, to one that should really drop its skincare routine. Here are 12 of the most beautiful. Number 12. The Gypsy. The name Gypsy should be enough to point towards the direction that this horse is pretty much mystical. These are the horses that you usually see drawn in storybooks. Gypsy horses originate from Ireland, and they've been bred very selectively over the past century to preserve their natural beauty and the overall characteristics of the breed itself. And well, the breeders have done a pretty great job so far. They are incredibly gentle and intelligent, which also makes them great horses to bring around children. They have black on fur, so the color of the coat is concentrated on their bellies and fades towards their back, which is the opposite of the way horses usually are. These beauties also have feathers on their hooves. Well, they're not real feathers, but fur that feathers out at the bottom, making it look like they're wearing roots with the fur. That is something most horses can only dream of doing. Number 11. The Shire. The name of these horses might as well be the sheer, because their sheer size is enough to make anyone stop in their tracks. The Shire is the biggest horse that ever existed. They stand at around 1.7 meters tall, and the tallest one ever recorded was 1.9 meters tall and weighed a whopping 3,300 pounds. That weight is all muscle too, which makes the Shire one of the strongest horses in the world. Pulling something like 45 to 50 tons of weight is all in a day's work for these strong horses. And they look poised and beautiful while they're at it too, effortless as ever. Even though it may be intimidating to come near one of these horses, they're actually known for being one of the most docile breeds ever. They're super laid back, and with the right trainer, easy to train, making them beautiful and fun to be around. Before we move on, we've got a speed challenge for you. If you subscribe to Facts Junkie and hit the bell icon in the next 5 seconds, you'll win 10 years of incredible luck. Give it a shot, it actually works. Number 10. Shetland Pony. Ponies are meant to be miniature horses that kids play with at fairs, right? Well, that may be true for regular ponies, but the Shetland Pony is no regular pony at all. These are horses that may be small, standing at 107 centimeters on average, but they're still strong, beautiful horses. They have short legs and are quite heavy looking, but that's because they're all muscle that's ready to be put to work. This is why these were the key horses that worked in the British mines in the 1800s. Pair all that muscle with their thick, furry mane, and you have the fluffiest, strongest ponies that have ever existed. Number 9. The Appaloosa. While most of the horses that are traditionally considered beautiful have a solid coat that's super shiny, the Appaloosa is unique. This horse does have a solid coat, but it's accompanied by spots all over too, which is the identifier for the horses because they're not always black. Sometimes they're brown or a mix of colors, making up their true coats. These horses are also very disciplined and eager to learn, which makes them one of the most popular horses used to take on hunts. But they're not all strong and ready to chase. They can slow down too. This is something a lot of horses can't do, which keeps new riders from getting up on any horse. The Appaloosa, however, mends its ways according to the rider that's on it, which creates a pretty beautiful riding experience too, regardless of the level of skill the rider has. Number 8. Icelandic Horse. Icelandic horses literally look like they have the beauty filter on, but that's not really the case. However, that blurring effect does stay in real life too. This isn't just an optical illusion. Icelandic horses have multiple layers of their coat, which when combined with the heavy, cold winds of Iceland, give them a blurred effect. The crazy thing is, these horses come in about 42 different colors. Add to the different names and faces, each Icelandic horse ends up being totally different from another. A lot of care has gone into keeping these horses looking the way they do. The government only allows selective breeding, and none of the breed is allowed to be imported into Iceland. So the versions of them you may see today are almost identical to the way they looked in the Viking era. Number 7. Friesen. The Friesian horse originates from Friesland in the Netherlands, hence their name. These horses have pretty much been around forever, with some of the earliest records dating back to 1000 BC. They are tall, poised horses that can grow to the size of about 1.7 meters. Their height is accompanied by a solid coat that's one of the shiniest things you might ever see. paired with a thick mane and slight feathers on their hooves to add to their overall look, as if they've been dressed by a stylist of their own. They're not all looks though. Frisians used to be the horse knights would ride on, because of how poised they were. But you don't need to be a knight or an expert rider to get on one of these horses. They're so docile and calm that even a beginner could ride them without a problem. Number 6. Clydesdale. If you've ever seen a Budweiser commercial, you'd already be familiar with the Clydesdale, as this is the star of every shot. They've got that star quality for sure, as they are 1.8 meters tall. That makes each of these horses a staggering 1 ton in weight each. With that stature and weight, they're also one of the strongest horses that have ever existed, which is probably why they used to be one of the most popular war horses too. The size isn't just something they grow into though, they're literally born with it, with the average foal already weighing around 180 pounds at birth. One of the most unique things about the Clydesdale is the fact that their hooves are huge too, almost the same size as their noses. Using their large hooves, they're able to gallop across fields without a problem. And well, watching these horses run is one of the most beautiful sights one might ever see. Number 5. Falabella. The Falabella horses look like the emo inspo we all tried to recreate back in the late 2000s. But unlike us, they're actually doing a great job at it. That isn't really what they're known for though. These are the horses that will catch your eye no matter how many horses you've seen in your life. That's because these are tiny horses, not ponies. That may be shocking considering they're usually under 32 inches in height. Their tiny stature is the opposite of the impact they usually have on people, because they're one of the most affectionate and loyal horses that have ever walked the earth. That also means that they end up learning tricks very easily too. So if you want a horse that can jump through any hoops you teach it to, this is the one for you. Number 4. Haflinger. Have you ever seen those glistening horses and mythical shots of horses in an open field? The Haflinger is probably the horse in that shot. These horses are literally known to be golden horses with a golden heart, because they're not only pretty to look at, but they're also experts at winning your hearts. These horses only come in a chestnut color, with a light thick mane that will turn heads wherever it goes. They're good at almost every type of work you might put it to, but they love agricultural work, as that's what they were typically used for. That doesn't mean these horses can't be fierce though, as they were also horses used in ancient wars. Train them however you want, and they will mold to your liking. Number 3. The Black Forest Horse. Imagine the idea of the most beautiful horse ever, and the image that you might think of probably looks similar to the Black Forest Horse. These tall, strong horses have a solid coat, which is usually black, with contrasting white thick mane that's usually so long that flows down both sides of their neck. The beauty of these horses is amplified even more when they run, as they show off their strength and the beauty of their mane all at once. The Black Forest Horse is one of the most intelligent horse breeds in the world, which also makes them a great companion horse to have. They will literally do anything you want them to, in style. Number 2. The Silver Dapple Pinto. Horses are usually regular colors like black, white, and chestnut. They aren't typically silver, but the Silver Dapple Pinto isn't really a regular horse either. Even though the base of their coat is a solid white, the black undercoat turns silver because of the gene mutation they do under. It gives their coat a star-shaped pattern, unlike one that exists on any other horse or animal. When the sun hits them just right, it makes those stars look like diamonds, silver diamonds. Number 1. Akalteke. While most horses look beautiful because of their size or their patterned coat, there are only some that are beautiful while being one solid color, and the Akalteke is that horse. The hair on this horse technically doesn't even have any color. The shafts are literally transparent. The hair uses the color of the horse's skin to emit a color, and when paired with sunlight, it looks like they have a whole 40-step skincare routine that they've been holding out on us, because they literally sparkle in the sunlight. Add to that their silky, shiny mane, and you'd find that these horses can leave the prettiest of people in doubt.